Yeah.
I will, no, I don't want to keep you guys. I'll go ahead and try and put it in at the end. So let's go then to Shark Bridge. All right, here's a Shark Bridge link. The messenger one.
Do you mind texting it?
No, so
Perfect, thanks.
okay. So what? Try here. Can you go ahead and mute yourself?
You want me to mute myself?
Yep.
Okay, how I got to go back to the other one then?
What?
Here, I can mute you.
Can you mute me? Oh, thank you.
There you go. All right. So these hands are all fragment hands. So I'm just showing you basically one suit. And the question is, how should you play this suit? So you all see 5 spades and 4 spades between your two hands?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. And so I'm going to try this. Hang on just a second. All right, so I sent you a poll. Did you guys see the poll pop up?
Yes.
All right, go ahead and click your answers in there. See what people think.
Are we assuming we have transportation between?
We're assuming we do not have transportation.
I see. And I guess there are really only 2 options.
Yeah, so I'm going to let you run again, because if you play the ace, then you can no longer finesse because you can't get back to your hand.
Yes.
So I sent my pull back out. All right, so there's 3 votes for play for the drop and 1 for finesse. And so the answer is we should play for the drop. And what's our guideline for that? When should we finesse and when should we try and drop the queen?
I thought when there's 4,
Yeah, when there's an even number out.
you don't finesse.
That's correct. And so the finesse, what's the chance that the finesse will work?
50-50.
That's right. And the chance that the drop will work, what's the chance that'll work? Hey, Tony.
Hello.
Is that 50-50 too?
It's not, it's 52 actually.
Are we on a shark or?
We're doing, yeah, Shark. So do you want me to email you the link?
Sure. Hopefully that's faster.
Okay. Oh, I gotta send it to your home email though, right?
Yep.
All right, I sent you a mail. So yeah, our guideline is when there's an even number out, it's better to try the drop, just slightly better. And if we have any clues from the auction or from the earlier play, that can easily sway our decision. But in a vacuum, that's just the way we would do that. So go ahead and the robots are on. Go ahead and play this and play for the drop. I see I've kind of messed things up here a little bit, but there the queen came down. The way I built the hands though, you're blocked, but that's fine. So let's do the next deal here. And let's go ahead and okay, that's fine. So what do you guys think? Should we finesse here or should we play for the drop?
Finesse.
Finesse.
Yeah, we've got an odd number out this time, right? So the finesse is a 50-50 chance of working, and the playing for the drop is less than 50% when there's 5 cards out. So go ahead and play through those. Let's see how that works. So yeah, that's not the finesse, Elizabeth. Let me back you up here. Try that again. Oh. Oh, you're on the wrong hand. I see. Hang on. There's your hand. No, that's still messed up. All right, well, I'm gonna load the next deal anyhow. And let's see if we got you right here. Okay, so go ahead and you can each play this third hand here.
Are we supposed to know that East started with a singleton?
You would not know for sure. Are you able to see all the cards? Oh, I
Well,
see.
we're able to see how many spades they have.
Yeah, sorry, that's not what we want.
No, I didn't think so.
Let me redo that one. Yeah, go ahead and restart that. Pretend you don't know if there's a singleton or not. So this is a case where we have an even number out, but we're missing the queen and the jack, right? And the
Right.
9 and the 8. And so normally we would play the ace and the king here and hope that they're 2-2. And that we won't lose any spade tricks. But if we start with the ace of spades, and then we see East play the queen, this is a little bit like the Monty Hall problem. And where if East had had the queen and a little one, chances are they play the little one, but they have a choice of which one to play. But when they play the queen, more often it's because they have to play the queen. And if they have to play the queen, that means that West is left with the jack and the 9. And so it's better then, after we play the ace, to play a low spade to the 10 and finesse the 10, which in this case is going to work. And then when we play the king, it'll take the last one. So let's replay this one and hide again.
So it didn't let us play it out though, right?
Okay, let's go ahead and there's the robot. So we'll let you play now.
So if it did.
No, they're still let me play the first trick.
Yeah, after the first one, it scores you.
What's that?
After the first trick, it scores you and stops the.
It's still
I
showing
see.
us. It's still showing us how many spades each robot has.
I think it's based on that I only gave East not enough cards here.
Yeah.
Total. It can't play to the next trick.
Oh.
All right, sorry. These are kind of a little tricky to set up. So give me just a second, see if I can correct that.
So on that, it's critical to lead the ace first rather than low to the king.
And that is a key point there. I agree.
And how do you know that? I guess.
Well, you look at that
Okay.
because if you are going to finesse in one direction, you can't finesse the other way
Right.
because you don't have the 10. You need to
Right.
preserve the finesse direction in that way.
The worst kinds of hands are where you can finesse in both directions, and then you still have to guess how you're going to play it.
Exactly.
My experience, you always guess wrong.
2/3 of the time. What you should do is plan in your head which way you're going to do it and then switch.
Psych myself out.
And I'm just fixing each of these so that they'll work. I'll be done in a minute.
When my team at UCSB was playing in the college championship a few years back, we had a game in the round robin where my teammate was in 7 clubs. The other table was in 3 clubs. And 7 clubs makes as long as you play for the drop when it's a 9-card suit and one hand holds the queen and the jack. So essentially you have to disobey restricted choice in order to make 7 clubs. My teammate actually did that for some reason. He had no way of knowing that restricted choice was going to fail, and yet he decided to play that way anyway. I think that would have been something like a 20 imp swing if he had played the other way.
Huh. Was
Okay,
he the only one to make it?
Well, it was a team game, so there are only 2 hands playing it.
No.
The person who was playing 3 clubs, I don't remember if she made all 13 tricks. I think she might have.
All right, see if you guys can play this one again. See what happens. You lead your ace of spades. All right, Elizabeth, you can go ahead and lead another spade there.
Oh, should have had you share your screen, right?
Yeah, I'll do that now. This one doesn't share very well because it's all the miniatures.
Right.
Are you putting these on YouTube, Brian?
I haven't been because I kept forgetting to record it.
But that's the idea.
Yes.
All right, so let's do the next deal. And you guys should be able to play here. Okay, so am I missing a card here? 1, 2, 3. Oh, shoot, I am. I didn't give you another card in the south. But anyhow, so what's the right way to play this one?
I guess, well, I think I did it wrong, but I'm guessing low to the ace, then low back to the queen,
Yes.
and then finesse the 8.
And why would you finesse the 8? What would be the indicator? Because you can play the queen,
That
ace, king, and hope they split 3-3 and drop.
yeah, that Jack 9 fell in east, and so you think he's out.
That's right. Where you're missing the Jack 9 and 10, it's another restricted choice scenario where if the Jack and 9 are played on the first 2 tricks, it's actually more than 66% likely that they're split 4-2. It's a double restricted choice, so it's even greater than 2/3 chance that that you'll succeed by finessing. Let's try the next one here. See, this is not going to work right either. I did not fix these. Well, you can still play it. It'll be okay. Robots. And so what's the right way to play this one?
Same way, just don't finesse.
Same.
Spade to the ace, a spade to the queen, but then a spade to the king. Because there's no Jack 10 or Jack 9 dropping from east to tell you that you should finesse. Yeah, I need to fix these hands one more time. Sorry, this will just take me a second here.
Probably get a. Oh no, not a bit.
I want to have these right for doing them another time too, so. All right, sorry. This tool is really fussy.
Right.
Pretty neat when it works, though.
Okay. Let's see, this one is still not right. So the next deal, this one should be good now. There's robots. Yeah, Elizabeth, go ahead and cash your queen of spades now. Yeah, see, it would have worked better for you to finesse on that last trick instead of playing for the drop. That's the tricky part. So when we see that 8 and that 10 drop on the first two tricks, that should be a sign that the jack is probably with East. I should have left him with the higher club there, Andrew, but I caught you.
Oh yeah, gotta ditch the 9, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
So this is similar to the others, but our finesse direction needs to be from dummy back to hand because our hand is the one with the 4-card suit. And in order to see 2 of their cards before we decide whether to finesse or not, we have to start with the king of spades and then a low spade to the ace. If we see it 2 of those high cards drop, we know we can finesse on the way back now. If we start with the ace, we won't have enough information yet as to whether to finesse, and that ace is our only entry there. But the other problem is if we start with the king and play low, and then we play low spade to the ace, we're left with the 9 of spades there, which if they play low, it leaves the lead in the dummy. And so we need to jettison the 9 of spades of trick 1 under the king of spades. So go ahead and retry that one, where you can see everything. Start with king of spades.
Oh shit! I just did it. Oh.
Yeah. And you got to play the 9 from dummy. So Elizabeth, undo yours too. Start with your king and then play the 9 of spades on trick 1. Yep. Now you go to the ace. And now you want to finesse on the way back. most often when you see the restricted choice in bridge, it's more like the earlier hands where you just on the first, you're missing 4 cards, and on the first round you see one of the honors, the queen or the jack drop. But these 7 card systems happen fairly often as well. They're, I would say, a little bit harder to spot. So yeah, Elizabeth, yeah, low to your king. And play your queen and see if West has to follow with a high spade. And they do, so that's probably a sign that they're out. So again, you want to finesse here. All right, I got, I think, this the same hand. Yeah, it is. That's the end of those. All right. So that's restricted choice and the let's make a deal Monty Hall problem. So let me bring up something else here. Okay, so you should all have a new hand and you're sitting west here. And so it's what's the contract that we're defending?
6 spades.
Right, and look at our auction. It starts out what can we tell about the opponent's high cards and shape from this auction? What does the beginning of the auction suggest?
North has 3 spades at about 17 high card point. Well,
No, North bid clubs.
right. But the fact that he didn't respond spade on the first opportunity. I mean, he probably had only 3 spades.
Yeah, or even it could be 2 because
Right,
South is showing 6 spades when he repeats his suit.
About 16 to 18 points.
Yep, and how about clubs? How many clubs do we think North has?
6 as well.
6.
Yeah, so North probably has 6 clubs and South has 6 spades, kind of for starters. And then what does the key card auction tell us?
2 key card and the queen. Spades.
Right, and so what do we know about key cards from our hand?
We have 1, and that's it. That's all they're missing.
That's probably right. They would not bid 6 spades if they were missing the king of spades plus one of the aces, right? So we can be pretty confident that they have all 4 aces. So what could we imagine that the declarer's strategy is going to be to make their contract?
Seems like they're probably going to finesse spades.
They'll probably try and finesse the spade and lose the spade. But then what's their main source of tricks going to be outside of trump?
Well,
Clubs.
Yeah. And so if they can take 6 clubs and 5 spades and the 2 red aces, that's 13 tricks, but they can't because they would lose the king of spades, but that's 12 tricks for them. So this sounds like the kind of hand that if we don't get our tricks pretty quick, we're never going to get them. So what do we think is our best chance for a lead? And Andrew, you're right, and the computer just guessed okay.
well, I'm glad to hear that. I guess he could have the king of diamonds too.
Yeah, James, that was right lead. So Elizabeth, you're on lead here. You got to pick a card to lead against 6 spades.
Mm.
All right, so go ahead and I'm gonna just do a claim on any number of tricks on your hands there, and we can look at all the hands then.
So claim to lose the rest.
Yeah. So the idea here is that what's the least you need from partner to have a chance at setting this? And if partner has the queen of hearts, then leading a heart is going to be the right answer. Because if they play the ace on trick 1 and then you win your king of spades, when they do the spade finesse, you can cash your king of hearts. And here you can see, looking at the hand, that East doesn't have the queen of hearts, but how could it work out good anyhow leading a heart here? It didn't for your robot opponent, but how could it against a random person?
To play second hand low, then you set up a heart trick.
That's right. They have to guess which hand has the queen, the king, and which hand has the jack. So if they play the 10 of hearts on trick 1, partner goes up with the jack and they have to win the ace, and that sets up your king. So if partner has the queen of hearts, you're almost certain to set their contract. If partner has the jack of hearts, you have a 50-50% chance of setting the contract. And so that's where you don't expect partner to hold very much. Like here, partner has 1 jack in their hand is all they have. But that 1 jack is enough to give the opponents a 50-50 chance. If you lead any other suit here, they have a lay down 12 tricks. But by leading a heart, in this case, it's a 50-50 chance of getting set. And a lot of people will kind of assume that you're not going to want to lead away from a king against a slam. And so they're going to be more inclined to think you're leading away from the jack and to play the 10 from dummy. So I would say more often than not, that would be the lead to set the contract.
Although, as we're saying, it is a standard play right here to lead under the king for the reasons we're discussing.
Yeah, and if it's particularly indicated by this 1 club, 3 club rebid, where dummy rates to have a lot of clubs. So if you thought that it was more like a couple of balanced hands, it may be better to make a passive lead and hope that your 2 kings win because they're in the right spot relative to the 2 aces, like you see they are here. So if you thought they might have hearts too and they needed to finesse in hearts and spades and you could see both of them were likely to lose, it's better to play passively. But here where the auction tells you that one hand has 6 spades and the other has 6 clubs, they're not going to need to set up a heart trick to make their contract. So you're not going to get a chance to just bide your time and take your king when they are finally forced to finesse. Here you need to take action quickly so that you can get your heart trick before they've had a chance to draw trumps.
From Declarer's perspective, could he sort of make a restricted choice style argument and saying, well, West in principle could lead either red suit against this auction. So the fact that West is choosing hearts is more likely to mean that West has a reason to choose hearts, namely he has the king and wants to set it up for a trick. Whereas if West had something more like East's hand, then hearts and diamonds would more or less be equally palatable, since neither has much going for him.
It's true, but again, even having the jack, if you switch the hearts between the 2 hands, the heart lead could still be the right one.
With the jack 4.
Yeah, because if they wind up going up with the queen, king, ace, your jack sets up. And it's still the same concept of needing to make you guess at trick 1, thinking that there's no time to wait passively to get your tricks towards the end of the hand. But I agree. I would think it's more likely somebody would lead away from their king here than from their jack, because leading away from a jack 4th is such a horrible lead, and 90% of the hands people won't do it, even if it's the right time to do it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that is, I think, all the hands that I have. I'm going to end this session.
You want me to stop the recording, or did you want to talk real quick about the
Yeah, let me tell you what. I'm gonna go ahead and cancel this for the rest of you guys early here, and I'm gonna run back through the Monty Hall problem for the recording here.
Okay. Thanks, Rick.
Sure thing. And I have links to all of this stuff on the LLNL bridge document.
That Google Sheet.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah.
All right, see you later.
See ya. Okay, so I'm going to go back through the Monty Hall problem. And so in the Let's Make a Deal in the olden days, there's end of the show. The winner would get to pick door 1, door number 2, or door number 3. And there'd be a nice prize like a car behind one door and a goat behind each of the other 2 doors. And so if that was the extent of the game and you pick a door 1, 2, or 3, you'd have a 1 in 3 chance of winning the car and a 2 in 3 chance of winning a goat. But after you picked your door, the way the game worked is if before they opened that door, Monty Hall would open another door, and it would always be a goat door. You say, okay, door number 3 in this case, let's open that, and we see there's a goat there. And so then he'd ask you, do you want to stick with your original choice, or do you want to switch doors? And switching to the other door is always the right strategy. If you stick with your original door, you have a 1 in 3 chance of getting it right. If you always switch, you have a 2 out of 3 chance of getting it right. And it's sort of unintuitive, but the way we think about that is that if your strategy is always to keep your pick, and you get a 1 out of 3 chance to start with, and it doesn't matter that he shows you a door or you're sticking with it, it's still a 1 out of 3 chance. But if your strategy is always to switch, if you picked the right door initially, when you switch, you're switching to a wrong door. But if you picked a wrong door to begin with, he's opened the other wrong door, and when you switch, you're switching to the right door. And because you had a 2 chances out of 3 of picking wrong initially, that means if you always switch, you have a 2 chances out of 3 of always winning the car. And so that's sort of a brain teaser, and you can think about that. But that's the basis of, in bridge, the restricted choice strategy. And restricted choice says that if you have something like ace, king, I don't want to do this. I have lots of good examples that we showed in the regular video. If we had a suit that's like this, we're missing the, we want to miss the queen and the jack, sorry. Normally we're used to playing the ace and the king, or the king and the ace, and hoping that the queen jack drop, because we've got 4 outstanding and we've got 9 cards here. But if we start with the king, and one of the defenders plays the queen or the jack, that shows that they're usually restricted to playing that by it being a singleton. It's the same idea as Monty Hall. When he opens one of these other 2 doors, he's required to show you a goat, so he doesn't have a choice of which door to open. And so in these cases, if you play the king and you see the jack or queen drop, you should finesse back the other way and try and finesse instead of playing for the drop for the other option. All right, Brian, I think that's it.
All right, thanks.
And if you can post that and put a link in